I like that I can see like reactions and comments on the side. I was wondering about
Mm-hmm.
that.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, Friday. Happy Friday.
Yay, Friday!
Friday. I think that's a little
Yes.
overused, but whatever. It's Friday and we can say whatever we want. Someone's here. It doesn't tell me who it is, but thank you so much for joining us. We are with Kathy Campbell, the Unicorn Sidekick. And obviously, she's a unicorn because she's got a horn. If you haven't gone to Kathy's website, it is so magical. Go to her website. Her brand is amazing and totally unique and really. And after talking to Kathy for a little while now, it's a complete, like, it's a wonderful representation of what you are as a person, I feel like, for the little
thank you.
few minutes that I managed to speak to you. But it's a wonderful brand. And I think in the conversation, it'd be wonderful to talk about how you came up with that sort of brand.
Absolutely.
But before we get to that, just let us know a little bit about you, first of all, where you're from, and just if you could tell us sort of how you came to be a VA and kind of the origin story of you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am in Oregon. I have born and bred here. I've lived in a variety of other places and a lot of visiting, but Oregon is definitely my home. I live with my fantastic daughter who is 9. And my husband, who had a stroke in 2010, which was the major push for me to take what I had been doing on the side at my 9 to 5 and make it full time. I was working a really, really horrible, soul-sucking job for a company that I had been with for 5 years. And it was, so I had started at the front desk and I moved back to a project management role after like 2 months. And I did that for a couple of years until I got pregnant and they moved me to the front desk just as a temporary changeover. And I was still making the same amount as I was making as a project manager, which was great, except it also made it very difficult to try and find a different job because I got very bored. There was maybe 3 phone calls a day and 1 visitor that was the UPS guy. Like
what
that it was just answer like front desk
and
like be a company, a software company.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And so I kept trying to move back because I'm like, look, I was awesome when I was a project manager, and they just kept saying, oh no, we don't have anything for you, blah 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 blah. The HR lady hated me. Long story, but it doesn't matter. So I had 8 hours a day where I had no person interaction because nobody was coming in, no one was really talking to me, and I had the internet, and I was in an office by myself, basically. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to commit time theft. I did all of my duties in the first hour and be like, okay, I'm bored. So I read a lot of blogs. I commented on a lot of blogs. All of the blogs.
What kind of blogs were you reading?
I was mainly reading a lot of photography blogs. I had been kind of a photographer for about a year, and it was just something I loved, like learning about and talking to other photographers and that sort of thing. And one of the blogs I followed, they made a post about how much hate mail they had gotten because they had terrible grammar and spelling and all of this. And so I emailed her and I was like, hey, would you like me to edit your blog post for you? I was bored. I had like nothing to do. So please let me have a purpose in my life. She's like, oh my goodness, that would be amazing. So I started doing that. And from there, it kind of blossomed into, I was editing her photos for her. I was doing like all of this other work for her as well, making $10 whole an hour on top of my salary. It was amazing. It was fantastic. And you
didn't know this blogger before you commented. You didn't know her personally, or you hadn't had any other communication with her.
I had no other communication other than just reaching out in an email and offering this. She then was like, hey, I have a friend that could use some help. I was like, okay. I still didn't have my days full. Like I was still bored. And so I helped her too. And I developed my first brand, which was the Photogs Helper. And I was going to just help photographers, help them in ways because they're very much creatives and they love what they do and they love taking the photos, but they don't really understand the business side. And this was something that just came so naturally to me. I graduated as a sociology major. And so understanding how people in societies work together was just something that really made sense to me. So being able to share this information that I had and knowledge and whatnot with other people, it was great. So I grew my business. I had multiple clients. I started working for a couple actual companies, a variety of different things that.
Were you still working full time?
Mm-hmm, while still working full time. And at that point our daughter was a year old. My husband was a stay-at-home dad at the time. And so he took care of her, and then I'd come home from work and I'd play with the baby and whatnot and take over parenting roles while he did dinner and all of that. And then later in the day, I would do whatever I couldn't do while I was at work. So any photo editing, that sort of stuff that wasn't internet related. And then in that fall in 2010, my husband had a massive stroke. He still is not fully recovered. He spent 1 week in the neuro ICU, 3 weeks in the hospital, and then 4 weeks in rehab.
Oh my God.
So our life completely changed. And during that time period, the biggest concern obviously was, is my husband going to live? Mm-hmm. But the second concern was this job, because the HR lady was evil. I had friends in the office that would tell me she was on the phone with with the company's lawyer trying to figure out how to get me fired while I was on FMLA.
Oh my God.
Shouting in public on the phone. So I knew I had to get out of there because there was no way I could take care of my family and work this job. Thank goodness my husband's disability was as bad as it was, because he was immediately accepted for Social Security disability benefits, mm-hmm. Which is very rare for it to occur in the first try. Mm-hmm. And so the day that those benefits started, I knew that we could afford to live if I got a part-time job. Okay. With the money that was coming in. Mm-hmm. My parents had helped us financially while I was on the part-time for FMLA, and we were on food stamps, but I knew that if I got a part-time job or even a full-time job that paid less with these benefits, we could survive. So I started working for Apple retail. Which let my personality, they're such great people, and the training and stuff, and it was great, and it got me out of that horrible situation, but it still was not enough because it was so far away. I had to travel about 45 minutes to get into work, which left me away from my family. So my husband was pretty much home all day by himself. My brother lived in the same apartment complex, so he was able to go and contact them as they needed to. But yeah, it was pretty intense. And I managed to get a second part-time job at a place that was closer for a company that did software for photographers. So I was able to slowly transition out of working the retail, and I started working for this company that was closer and still with photographers, and I could grow my virtual assistant business more. And over the next year, I grew my business more and more. I eventually stopped working there and worked at a winery just a couple hours a week, because I felt like I needed that stable security. Even though I was making consistent money on the side, getting a W-2 was something that I needed, until one of my clients was like, hey, how much would I have to pay to get you to quit that job so that you are available at all times? So I gave them a number and I quit, and that was 4.5 years ago. And I've now been doing this full time by myself. The unicorn branding, the unicorn branding came about 1.5 years ago. When I was getting exhausted working with just photographers because it was hard to get them to want to pay money that I didn't know I was worth. It was so hard. It was so hard. And it was exhausting. And so I had picked up some non-photography clients, and one of them was like, man, is there anything you don't know how to do? You're like a business unicorn. I was like, because I've been thinking of rebranding and getting away from just photographers, and it just kind of clicked. And so I became the Unicorn Sidekick, because who doesn't want a sidekick that's a unicorn? I mean, getting that magic in your life, it's pretty amazing. So I was able to rebrand, and it just exploded from there. And I'm so very happy, with what I do and what I.
And so your branding was inspired by a comment from a client. Mm-hmm. And do you feel like the branding is now helping you to attract more of those kind of dreamy clients?
Absolutely. Because so the very first consultation I have, I come and I look like this. I have my headphones. You know, my website is extremely branded. Everything is all about magic and glitter and sparkles and all of it. And it makes me so happy to see. And so when I start working with someone and we have that initial consultation, they always, all of my clients who are amazing, my clients are absolutely fantastic. And it's because they make a comment about how cool my headphones are, how awesome it is to have a unicorn horn, how magical, all of that. And that's how I know for sure that there's someone that I want to work with. I use a smattering of curse words occasionally, like it's not hardcore, but like every so often it'll slip in when I'm talking. So, you know, I might as well have it on my website. And so if someone doesn't contact me, they're not my client, you know, and that I have come to the point where I don't want to force myself to work with somebody because of the money, because it ends up being the hardest job that I will have. So being able to be yourself and have yourself be your brand, whatever that may be, makes the biggest impact on the clients that you attract.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And do you find yourself turning away clients that might want to work with you, but you don't feel like they're a good fit, or they don't understand your branding or your vibe?
Yeah, I've turned away. So I don't do any active marketing because my full-time retainer clients are full. So I don't have room for the big ones. So I'm not actively marketing and throwing out stuff, but every so often I still do get contacts. And if it's someone that's just like, I want someone to run my social media, if that's all they want, that's probably not what I'm not the best client for you. I'm not the best contractor, employee, someone to hire, because I do so much more than just tasks. And we talked about this, you and I, a little bit. So I guess now is an okay time to go into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've been doing this for a while, and I've been working with small businesses, and I've been in the small business arena for a while, to the point where I have a lot of information that not a lot of people have. And a lot of my clients are small businesses. They're usually solopreneurs or maybe a partnership, but they are newer to what they're doing. So they don't necessarily have the funds to hire an entire marketing team, to hire an entire, a front desk person, to hire people to do all of this stuff. And I was getting exhausted of just taking tasks from my clients, just saying, hey, make these posts. Mm-hmm. Well, I wanted to be part of the strategy as well, but I still love being able to take those tasks off the table. So I kind of am an online business manager / VA. So I do the strategy. I talk to them about their business. I give them suggestions. We figure out what they actually need. Part of my onboarding includes a delegation matrix. So it's a 4-quadrant thing of things that you love to do, things that you are good, and things that you are good at. And then 1 quadrant is things that you hate to do, but that you're good at. Things that you are good at. No, sorry, I should have pulled it up. Things that you love to do, but aren't the best at. And then things that you hate to do and are terrible at. And so I have people do time tracking throughout the day, figuring out what they're actually doing and putting that in the quadrant so that we can figure out how I can take the stuff they hate to do and are bad at off of their plate, because they don't need to do that.
So you ask them to do this after they've signed to work with you, after
Correct.
there's like been a contract, and so they take that time to really assess where they're spending their time so that they can then properly delegate tasks to you.
Correct. Okay. And 95% of the time, the tasks that I do are not what they came to me to have them do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. So do you find that do they come to you a little confused with what tasks they can take off? Or
yes, they know that they need help, but they don't know what they need help for. And so they'll maybe have Googled what a virtual assistant can do. And they find, I can have somebody do my social media posts. Like, that's great, fantastic. But maybe we should look at the client communications, because you're getting 100 emails from your clients a day, and you're spending, 4 hours of your workday just emailing them. Most of it is going to be a template. If you don't even have on Max text expander is something that I use, which is the ability to save full paragraphs with links and pictures and stuff of things that you can just do a keyword and it inputs it into whatever text area you're in. I use it all the time. It's fantastic. So that's how I keep my templates saved.
What's that called? I feel like I should know that.
Text expander.
It's
from
expander.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you can share the snippets. So if you're working with a team, or if your clients also have text expander, they can make changes to wording and verbiage on their side, and it gets synced over if you share the snippet. It's amazing. I love it. And so I use email communications. I type 4 characters and an entire answer is replied.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh my goodness.
It's so easy. It's so easy. And you get these really fun weekly, this is how much time you've saved and how many characters you haven't had to type. So it's really fun to gamify it a little bit. Yeah. But it takes that off of their plate, whoever so they don't have to communicate with their clients. The clients don't care. They don't care if it's actually the CEO that's replying to them. Especially if it's the same words. There are obviously some things that I will then pass on to my clients. So one of my clients is a CPA. And so especially now, this is tax season for the US anyways. they get a lot of people asking questions. So my client doesn't ever look at the general email box. I get an email from a client, from one of his clients, and I put it into our task management software. So, and he'll write the quick reply. I will reply to the email, expand it out, put their name. Thank you so much for, whatever padding they need to. So my client spends less time having to worry about making sure they don't scare away their client, but not have to really think about it.
That's awesome. And what, I'm a geek for tools and stuff. So what task project management software do you use?
So I use a lot of different task management softwares because it all depends on my client and what my client wants to use. So during every morning, I have a brain dump period where I go over what I need to do for the day for my variety of clients. And then I put it in my trusty bullet journal, what tasks I need to do for that day. Because I'll have stuff in Asana, I have stuff in Basecamp, I have stuff in Trello, like I have stuff in emails. Like all of my clients prefer something different, which I'm totally fine with because I want to make sure that they use it, that they want to use what they do. If they don't want to use the task management software, it makes it very difficult for me to know what I need to do for them. So I walk them through. If I have a choice, I prefer Asana because I'm able to log into the different my different clients. With just the drop down.
Like different workspaces.
So I have different logins. Yeah, different workspaces is the word. Yeah. So that's my preference, but I will use whatever they do, and I solidify them in my bullet journal so I know what my tasks just for today are over all of my clients.
Perfect. Okay, so you have a CPA client. You started with photographers. How did you kind of transition to kind of clients that weren't photographers?
It was really organic. I had friends that were like, oh, my buddy so-and-so needs help. It's like, okay. Or like I posted on Facebook groups, a variety of things people would need help. And I was like, hey, I have time to do this project. Like, let me do this. And that's when I learned that there were people out there that I didn't have to fight to get my money. And it also influenced me to raise my prices as well. Because the people that were not willing to pay more than $12 an hour didn't even want to pay that $12 an hour. My hourly rate is now $75 an hour, and I could probably go up, but I don't want to because I'm good with where my clients are and where I'm at, my inquiries and whatnot. So like my price point is exactly where I need it to be. And I know that by attracting the clients that are willing to pay the money, I am so much happier.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. They pay on time. They pay early. Like they give me bonuses. Like it's so wonderful. One of my bonuses from one of my clients last year was house cleaning. So I have a lady that comes and cleans my house twice a month that my client pays for.
Incredible. Are you kidding?
Yeah. It's amazing.
So you're definitely doing something right. Like you're treating your clients really well, and they're appreciating you and showing you how much they value you. So what is it that you're doing that's making them so like in love with you? Other than being great at what you're doing, like is there something that you're doing that you think is just going above and beyond what another VA would do?
I think the fact that I care about their business as a whole, and the fact that I come into this and I'm like, let's make your business succeed. Because if your business succeeds, you have more money to pay me to do more things, which means you can do more of what you want to do as opposed to what you think you have to do. Go ahead.
No, I mean, if they're doing well, then you're doing well. It's kind of like this mutually beneficial situation where the bigger they're getting and growing, the more work you have, and the more like of a raise that you can get, like potentially. But
because they can see, they can see the greater return on investment. The fact not just that they don't have to do these little tasks because it'll just get done, but also the fact that they are able to spend more time with their family, or they're able to do more of whatever that creative side of things requires them to do. I totally had another thought, and it totally. Hate that. It was a good one too, but it'll come back, I'm sure. No.
I hate when that happens.
It's so frustrating.
I just want to point out, Anna, thank you so much for all your comments. We can see them. I'm not ignoring you. I know you mentioned that people who pay lower rates tend to micromanage more too. Yes. So true.
So true. Because the people that are paying lower rates tend to have a lower income from their business already. So they're already stressed about money. They're already really concerned about making sure that they get the return on their investment. I remembered what I was going to say, and it's kind of related to this. it a part of what I do with clients is I'm not afraid to say I've messed up. So I make mistakes because I'm human. Instead of passing it off or trying to give excuses or trying to explain what happened, I tell them what did actually happen. Because it's so important to own your mistakes, and that allows my clients to trust me more because they know that I'm not going to, oh no, I accidentally did X, Y, and Z, and A happened, so I better hide this. No, I need to tell them because this is their business. I'm here to help them. I'm here to support their business so that they can succeed. I don't take ownership for the business themselves. Like it's not my business. I'm here to help, and I will do whatever I need to do pretty much to help. But if something screws up, if they have to file for bankruptcy, that doesn't affect me other than my client's not there anymore. This is their entire life. This is their entire business. And the trust that they can give into me, it has to be reciprocated. I have to know that I can trust them. And if that means that we're no longer working together, well, so be it. Like if they don't have that trust in me, I can't help them because they can't trust that I will get done what I say I'm going to get done. And so people that don't have a lot of income coming in already, but need that help, that don't want to pay the money, they're already on this low level of success, this really low bar that they are stressing about every dollar, every penny that's coming in and going out. And so they feel like they have to micromanage because that dollar means they aren't getting food on their table. And so they don't know how to let go and trust somebody, which is hard. It's really rough. And I've been there. I've supported people that have been there. I've done all of that, and it sucks. And I'm so thankful that I don't have to be on that level anymore.
How do you find the clients that are willing to pay $75 an hour or just...
At this point, it's all word of mouth and referrals, and that's really hard to like, oh yeah, I just talk to people is my other thing. Like, I just talk to people. Like,
you mean you literally just talk to people, like people you meet at social gatherings or just out and about?
Yeah, and on Facebook groups and like that, because I work from home and I work for myself and I work from my office. So, and I'm very much an extrovert. So I need to talk to people. So every so often I'll be in a Facebook group and someone's like, hey, I need help with this. And I'm like, okay, I have options. Like, here, this is my price list. Here you go. And because I'm okay with my income how it is right now, I am okay if they don't pick me.
I was going to say, because usually in those threads and those posts, there's like a million, like 100 plus people saying, I'm a VA, I can do this. How do you make yourself stand out from those kind of threads and all those other people?
It's definitely difficult. And there's a lot of things, a lot of projects that like I would have loved to work on that I'm too expensive for them, which is fine. But every so often, like I just had someone that contacted me about a month ago from one of those threads that had ended up getting deleted for some reason, but she had saved a bunch of contact information. And this was like 4 or 5 months ago. And she emailed me and she was like, I love your website. I love what you do. Are you still available to help me? So something about what I said, my links, etc., triggered them to remember me that many months ago. So having this strong brand and I'm a freaking unicorn. Like, come on, people are going to remember. Even when this whole unicorn like phase is no longer popular, I'm not going to rebrand and be a mermaid or whatever like is the next thing.
Flamingo.
Like, yes. Or a pineapple, the whole crown and be sweet on the inside. Like this is me. And it's a me that's always been inside that I never really was able to identify. And so being able to be confident in who I am as a person, as well as a business owner, makes such a big difference in when I communicate with clients. So be memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Be solid with who you want to help. Have your ideal client in mind, whatever that may be, and try and be as specific as possible. And it's really funny because my ideal client is very different than any of my actual ideal clients that I'm working with, but that's okay. Like my client roster is about 80% men right now.
Oh, wow.
And it's really surprising to me because that is not who I've imagined as my ideal client. And it's fine because these are men that are not afraid of the femininity of having a unicorn. They're not afraid of glitter and magic. Like, so one of my client gifts that I send when I start working with someone on a retainer process is a box of special soap products from one of my other clients that creates for me.
Excellent.
Actually, I have some right now.
Oh, I love what you said. I don't know if you can hear me, but I love what you said about being clear on who your ideal client is, but don't discriminate against people who might not look like they're your ideal client.
Yes.
Because you actually won't know who your ideal client is until you work with them. So you can have you can have all these dreamy kind of ideas of who your ideal client is and what they do and what they drink and what they wear. But until you actually work with different types of people, you won't know who that ideal client actually is. So I wouldn't be afraid to just try different things. Ooh. Oh, why does that look familiar? What's it called?
It's
bitch, please.
No, so one of my clients is a soap maker. She does soap, and she's one of my photography clients. So I take pictures of her stuff, and she makes these for me as a barter system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's chapstick, bath salts, and then these amazing soaps that are my custom scent, including a freaking unicorn one, which who doesn't want a unicorn soap?
Wait, can you put the box over the, that's it. Oh, they're so pretty. I'm sure I've seen those on Instagram. They're beautiful. Yeah.
Like I love it so much. And I send them to my male clients. Like they don't have to be a girl to enjoy baths. And so I have a set of clients. They are app developers in New York City. And they are very millennial men. And it's fantastic because they got this box and they were so excited. Like they love it. And I'm like, you can't assume what people are and enjoy. And like, you got to own it. And yeah.
Wow.
It makes me happy. So yes, my ideal client is not who my clients actually are, but it's who I customize my branding for and all of my communications. And it's amazing who identifies with that ideal client. And it's going to be different than who I picture, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. That's great. I love that. Yeah, most of her clients are male. That's really interesting. Yeah. And the unicorn really appeals to the males. That's amazing.
It's great. It's wonderful. And they're so welcoming, and they love working with me, and I love working with them. And their wives are happy because they also will steal the bath stuff, but they get their husbands home. Like they love the fact that I get to take stuff off of their plate so that they can enjoy their family.
Oh, yeah, that's what it's all about. Wow. Anna had a question about how you positioned yourself as an OBM from a VA.
So this is difficult because it's something that I've really just within the last year been able to really identify as what I am. And it's because I was getting tired of just taking tasks off people's plates. I wanted to help guide their business as a whole. And so being able to present myself as knowledgeable, and that I know how to do a variety of things to the point where I can help with strategy, I just kind of started talking to my clients saying, hey, have you thought about this? Or what if we did this instead? And they're usually like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So it gives them a second person to like really communicate their business and their strategy with, other than maybe their spouse or their girlfriend or boyfriend or whoever they're living with, that may not actually know what's going on. Because most of our partners are not business owners. Or if they are business owners, they may not be in the same industry that we're in. So being able to have someone that is familiar with what they're working on, familiar with their business as a whole, familiar with their goals, and being able to offer up suggestions helped me identify more of what I can help people with, which then allowed me to realize, hey, I can do this, this, and this. So let's do this, this, and this. Like, let me help you.
So it is about showing that genuine interest in their business and asking questions and being curious and offering solutions. It's really kind of taking that initiative to put yourself in that position, isn't it?
You can't be passive. And that's something that it's difficult for women, especially if they're starting their business. It can be very difficult for women to come into a situation and talk to someone with assurances that you know what you're talking about. It can be very difficult to push yourself that far, but it's so important. Yesterday was International Women's Day. Like, the pay gap is real. It is legit out there. It's been proven. Like there's argument, but there isn't. But part of it, like the counteraction is that yes, women are not as assertive when it comes to business. And I find that to be very true. You have to take ownership of yourself, your knowledge, your information, and be ready to prove it and let people know that yes, I'm freaking awesome. Yes, I can help you with this. Like, let's do this. Let's get this done and let people believe you.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. It's just being enthusiastic and just full of energy about someone else's business. And that'll just rub off on them and they'll trust you and they'll just, they're going to be
they'll throw all the money at you. All the money.
I love it so much. So Lisa asked a question. Did you always send a gift when a client went on retainer, or was that recently with the new branding?
It's pretty recent, mainly because I didn't have retainer clients as much when I was just helping photographers. I had a couple, but they were also paying so little, I didn't feel confident spending money on a client gift. And so at this point, because my new clients are on retainer and with the new branding, like it's so awesome and so easy to find stuff for, why the heck not?
Yeah. Excellent. And were your retainer clients kind of always retainer clients? Like from the beginning, they signed up for a retainer kind of engagement, or did you have to kind of sell it to them? Or
I would say about half of them signed up as a retainer client. So the retainer clients, I give them a bundle of hours. So like the different price points are like 1 to 10 hours a month or 15 to 20. Like, so I still am tracking my time and I use my hourly rate as a way to give an idea of what that pricing is, but they do get a discount because they pay at the beginning of the month. And if I don't do, so say they pay me for 20 hours and I only do 5, they don't get a discount. They don't get money back. They don't get any of that.
Okay.
They also that never happens. Like, they're always at that point. And they're very aware of the hours, and I let them know it because I'll do usually about an hour extra if I need to. But if it's to the point where they need more help, that's when I'll talk to them about, hey, I think you need a different package. And at that point, there's a reason that they have been needing that help, and we've developed that trust. And so we expand it to the point where they have no problem paying that more because they don't have to do this work.
Yeah, definitely. So on your website, you do list a lot of stuff that you do.
Yeah.
Things from like even personal, like gift shopping or travel arrangements and stuff like that. Do you actually do all of that stuff, or do you do one thing more than another, or have you kind of created packages to fit different needs?
So the biggest push for me being not just a task-based VA was because I want to be able to help people with all of this. And so even though it's not necessarily as specific, like every day I'm arranging someone's travel, it's not, but it's information that, and the reason I list it all there is because it is stuff that I have done for people in the past. It's stuff that I am currently doing for people. And that helps people that are looking for help. It helps them identify what people can help them with, because a lot of times, like we talked about before, they have no idea what they need help with or what they want help with or even what is possible. And so knowing that, hey, this is a task I could do for you, it's like, oh, okay. Most of what I do is client communications, and not as much social media anymore, which is really interesting to me. That most of my clients have moved away from needing the social media as much, which totally fine with. Like, let's get this stuff done. But it's very random. And what happens every day is going to be very different than the last, and very different for each client. And it's fun.
Yeah. So Lisa asked, how much learning do you think happened after you became a VA? So being confident and jumping in is hard for her because clients will understand if there's a learning curve. So have you ever taken on jobs where you didn't actually know how to do what it is that they wanted, and you kind of just learned on the job?
Yeah, absolutely. And okay. I've never said no to a client so much as I've said, yes, I can do this. I may need to Google some things, but I can absolutely do it. Or I've also said, yes, but it's going to cost this much extra, partially because of that learning curve. And a lot of times these people that I'm working with are because I've developed a relationship with them, so they're totally fine with it. But also I'm really good with technology. So I helped a client transition her CRMs. It had been 4 years since I had done anything with the CRM that they were transitioning to. So obviously it's software, stuff changes. And I was up front and I told her, hey, it's been a while since I've used the CRM, but I'm very confident that I know that I can do this. I didn't charge any extra, but I also did not give a discount because this person needs help. This person needs support from somebody. Just because you don't feel confident that you can do it as quickly as you think that you should be able to, does not mean that you should discount them. Even if you're new, don't discount. Like, I would rather give my services to someone for free as a gift that I choose than discount my services because I don't feel confident that I can do this. If you don't feel confident that you can do a project, don't do it. Because it will only hurt yourself and your integrity if you have to, halfway through the project, say, this isn't working. So if you're nervous, find something that you are confident with and concentrate on that, and then you can grow. It's difficult though, especially when you're starting out. But find that thing that you love to do and you're really good at. Do your own delegation matrix.
That's a good tip. So you were confident to do the CRM stuff because you know that you're good with technology and that you'll be able to pick it up quickly and that it won't take you too much time. So you were confident to do that, even though you weren't like 100%
Even though I hadn't done anything with that CRM or any CRM in years, I was confident that the basic structure of it is the same. Additionally, there's this amazing tool called Google. If you type a full sentence, how do I add an X to Y in blank?
Yeah.
There's going to be 100 different ideas there, and it's probably going to work. And so use Google.
Completely agree. I mean, these business owners could use Google and they could get it done as well, but they have no desire to learn how to do it. They have no time to do it, and they have no interest in learning how to do it. So
they shouldn't have
that's why they hire you. Yeah. So Google is your friend. If you don't know how to do something, I bet in 5 minutes you will know how to do something with the help of Google. But I love what you said about don't discount. Definitely, because that just says so much about your confidence and your abilities. If you discount, it sends off all the wrong signals, I think. It's so much better, like you said, to gift your hours, because that's kind of a conscious decision that you're making. And it just says a lot about your generosity and how much you want to work with that person. So I love that you said that.
Yeah.
Did we have another question that I haven't addressed? I think we're coming up to the hour. We've got about 15 minutes left. And I wanted to ask you what tips you would have for anyone who's just starting out as a virtual assistant.
Figure out what you really love to do. One of the things that you will never see on my list of things that I enjoy doing is content creation. I am not a writer. I hate writing. And it's funny enough, I have a book that I'm writing, but that's a whole other story. But
you got a blog, don't you?
Yeah, but I very rarely blog. Like my last blog post is like from 6 months ago. Like give me, like, I will tweet, I will occasionally share stuff on Facebook and like Pinterest and like that sort of thing, but I'm not a writer. Please don't ask me to write your blog posts.
Awesome.
That's not something that I do. Like, I have clients that will spill out words and I will make them pretty. Like, I can like group the words together, but don't make me write it from blank. Like, don't do that. So I would never, ever, and I've passed on clients and moved them around. Like, I will never take on a client that just wants that, like, ever, because I hate doing it. I hate it. I would have to charge like $1,000 an hour to do it. And so if you want to pay me for that, great, but you don't want to pay me for that. So, but what I love doing, I love working with clients. Like, I love being able to have that communication with clients and help their technical support. I love being able to take little things off of their plate, like booking a hotel and like plane tickets. I love being able to find gifts for people. I love like being able to have someone say, okay, I need X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, and F, and then getting it done by the end of the day. Like, that makes me really, really happy. And so being able to have this knowledge of what I love to do, it means that I am able to find more of that in my life. And so when I started out and I was working just with photographers, I knew that I loved photography. I knew that I loved helping explain to photography clients how important photography is for you, and being able to edit people's pictures and like all of these things. And that's why I was able to develop that company around that concentration, because it was something that I loved to do. So figure out what it is that you love to do. Figure out what is in that love, and it is really easy in your delegation matrix. Figure out what makes you happy at the end of the day when you check off that to-do list. And you can find clients that hate doing that because they will be there. Like, that's perfect. And if you learn later on that you don't love doing that anymore, don't do it anymore. And pivot to something else. It's okay to make changes. It's okay to make adjustments to who you work with and what you offer. You don't owe your clients anything other than that time that you're putting in. If you have to make changes, which might include firing a client, it's good. It's okay.
But I think it's all right in the beginning to just try different things. Try different types of clients. Try
because you don't know.
Yeah, because you won't know what you like and what you don't like until you do it. And you don't know who you'll like to work with and who you do love to work with. Like, you'll have to kiss a lot of frogs. I say this a lot. Kiss some frogs before you find, your prince and the things that you like to do. And it'll take a little bit of time, but you'll get there.
And you might lose money, and you might lose some time, and you might lose clients because you're looking for that. But this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It took me 6 years to figure out what I really enjoy doing, like, as a whole, and really identify. So when you're just starting out, you have to be open to those changes, and you have to be aware that, you don't know everything, which is totally fine and totally normal. Don't make excuses for it, though. Make sure that you are honest with yourself and your clients to the point where you are confident with what you're doing and who you are, whatever that is right then, because it will change.
Perfect. I love it. Does anyone have any other questions? Because I think we're going to start wrapping it up. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Michelle, Lisa, Anna. I'm sure there was somebody else. Michelle, Lisa, Anna. Anyway, and anybody else who's watching. I'm sure there were more people watching. If you have any other questions, we can answer it now, or just pop it in the comments, and either myself or Kathy, I can send the questions to Kathy and we can answer them for you. But again, thank you guys so much. And thank you so much, Kathy, for telling us all about your journey and your ups and your downs and your achievements. I mean, it sounds like you're doing really well. And your clients love you, so you're doing something right. So
something's going on. Something's happening.
It's all good. Go check out her website so you can see what a really great, strong brand looks like. So there's a lot to learn from that. So
thank you so much. Thank you. This was fun.
Guys. Yeah, it's been really fun. Have an amazing rest of the day. And everyone watching as well, have a great Friday and a great weekend. Bye,
guys.